if you're watching this.
Hey, how you doing? I hope you're doing well. So I've spent over 30 hours playing Gotham Knights, 32.2 to be exact. I've spent 32.2 hours playing Gotham Knights, and in those 32.2 hours, I've felt a lot of feelings. At first, it was excitement, joy, a fantasy fulfilled. I've always wanted to play as Jason Todd, to be Jason Todd, and now I was. I've always wanted to see the Bat family explored in a medium that wasn't the tangled continuity of DC Comics, and now I was.
Oh, this is gonna be good.
But as the hours flew by like a flying Grayson, my personal IV of excitement, the bliss of the Bat family, the colorful twisted darkness of Gotham, that IV started to drip less and less. The bliss morphed into dread. Gotham lost all its vibrancy, its hope, and became its dark, shadowed, cynical corners. The endless possibilities began to narrow. I've spent 32.2 hours playing Gotham Knights, and I'm left with a singular feeling, a longing for what could, for what should have been. This is Gotham Knights, and this is Gotham Knights Heartbreak. But before we Lazarus Pit spirit jump into the video, are you thinking about editing your own videos and looking for a popular, budget-friendly, and easy-to-use editing software? Well, you can do just that with Wondershare Filmora. Wondershare Filmora is perfect for both beginners and experienced editors. They got preset templates, filters, transitions, effects, and tons of royalty-free music so you can avoid the soul-shattering, ever-appearing copyright claims. My personal favorite functions are the classy and cathartic title editing, their magical and mystical motion tracking, and of course the royalty-free music so my channel doesn't get me in even more legal trouble. Right now, Filmora is hosting a campaign for some great prizes. If you create designs with vaporwave elements, then share them on social media with hashtag #CreateWithWondershare and tag @Wondershare. They will pick their favorites to win a $200 creative fund for your next project. Have your content and channel featured by Wondershare, or even get the opportunity to work with Wondershare as an ambassador. So check them out using the link in my description. It's free to try. Thanks, guys. I'm no game reviewer, and I'm sure as hell no game developer. I have no idea the amount of work that went into something of this size. My disappointment is not a reflection of their effort and should not be taken as such. Hostility, vitriol are the enemies of growth. With any art form, I always want to take the time to appreciate the hours and hours of love that gets put into the process. So thank you, WB Montreal, for dreaming, for daring to dream and putting it out into the world for douche knuckles like me to play. Now, before I give my 2 cents, I want to hear your nickel. What did you think of Gotham Knights? What's your dream Batman game? Hell, what's your dream Bat family story? I love to read your fan theories and ideas, so let me know down below, please. This is not an Arkham game. That has been said, reiterated, debated, screamed, loathed, loved. Gotham Knights is not an Arkham game. So why does it feel like one? Why do I feel like I've done this all before? From the very first mission where you infiltrate Kirk Langstrom's office, where you use AR mode to scan various clues that lead to various leads, I feel like I've played this game before. We've stealthed our way through the GCPD, crawled our way through the vents all the way to the morgue where we've analyzed a body, stopped along the way to view the evidence lockup full of comic book Easter eggs. We've stopped bank robberies in progress, collected shiny collectibles, searched high and low for those Easter eggs. We've driven around Gotham, ejected while going super fast, grappled to areas high above our streets, sunk into the sewers, the caverns deep below our feet. I feel like I've played this game before. We've fought the largest of foes and the most disturbed of victims. We've explored where we send them to rot and where we hope they are rehabilitated. I feel like I've played this game before. We've uncovered a conspiracy involving the League of Assassins, we've battled Ra's al Ghul to the death, we've seen a Harley without the Joker, we've had boss battles with this exact gallery of rogues, we've been frozen by Mr. Freeze, viciously attacked by Harley's goons, her followers. We've been covered in bodily clay and flown with Man-Bat. We've seen all these villains before, we've had boss battles that were far more engaging, creative. We've seen them done with more depth, not just in the Arkham games, but in pretty much every other medium. Give me Baby Doll, give me Humpty Dumpty, Maxie Zeus, Clock King, Dr. Hurt, James Gordon Jr., Kite Man, Catman, Owlman, Scarface, Clayface 2, or the second Two-Face. Give me villains relevant to our hero's journey and not just the villains that make for the grandest display of neon particles and gunfire. I feel like I've played this game before. Hell, we've all played as these exact characters before: Dick, Tim, Babs, Jason. I'm inclined to believe the leaks that WB Montreal was working on a sequel to Arkham Knight, a Damian Wayne game set in the future that they apparently worked on for years before they decided to move on to Gotham Knights, a game that sounded, looked, and probably would have been far more awe-inspiring. You know how Insomniac's Spider-Man felt like our nostalgic memories of every single Spider-Man game beautifully woven into a new web? How it paid homage, took the best ideas, and managed to spin a brand new tale that felt perfectly faithful, but fresh? On every level, from the dialogue to the gameplay to the world to the story, Gotham Knights all feels so derivative in a way that goes beyond homage and imitation of greater games, greater stories. It all feels so stale. I kept wanting to love it, kept longing to find something new, waiting for the turn when the game found itself. Maybe after this mission, maybe once I unlock this ability, maybe I should try playing as Dick, Barbara, Tim, maybe. But that maybe never came. We've played it all, done it all, loved it all a decade ago, and sadly, a decade ago, it was more artful, far smoother, and far more original. Batman died at the end of Arkham Knight. He dies at the beginning of Gotham Knights. But we cannot escape his shadow. No matter how hard they try, no matter how many innovations they take away or gameplay loops they add, no matter how hard they try to make us feel like this is not a Batman game. So you cannot ride in the fast, frantic, fierce Batmobile. Instead, you ride the slow, glitchy Bat bike. This is not a Batman game, so you cannot move around Gotham with elegance, you cannot glide with an unmatched flow. Instead, you must clunkily, slowly, clumsily control your character. There's no fluidity, certain missions even lock off the city, giving you an out-of-bounds warning. There's no power, elegance, grace behind your movement. I can't tell you the amount of times my character, myself, my Jason could not move the way I needed him to, wanted him to. I felt lost, scrambled in this massive world, this gargantuan Gotham City. One of my greater disappointments with Gotham Knights is Gotham itself. Gotham had so much character in Rocksteady's series. You could not walk more than 2 feet before coming across a beautifully designed piece of architecture, a piece of the world that told you a history. I cannot tell you how many hours I spent just walking, not driving or gliding, walking through the Gotham they designed with such care. Gotham Knights attempts this, and on the surface, their city is beautiful. If Rocksteady was Tim Burton, Gotham Knights is Joel Schumacher, and there's nothing wrong with that. Not an oppressive, scary, damp well of despair, but a neon-lit, smoke-fueled, statue-riddled playground. It attempts to have the depth, the layers of Gotham we have come to expect. Murals, hidden passageways, a history shown to us, but unfortunately, tragically, it's overshadowed, buried beneath, crushed by the size of its world. A bigger playground is not always a better one. Here you can walk for minutes and not feel an ounce of life. I'd rather Gotham be empty, abandoned, filled with only the vicious, the villainous, than be filled with lifeless NPCs. This Gotham never makes me want to explore every corner. It makes me want to fast travel through its barren world, and that's sad, man. There's nothing lurking in the shadows of the night, no secret villains, no hidden heroes, just loot and enemies to spam. Gotham Knights is not a Batman game. Gotham Knights is not a Jason Todd game. It is not a Dick Grayson game. It is not a Barbara Gordon game. It is not a Tim Drake game. Gotham Knights would have been better off as any of those than trying to be all four. Every mission is tailored for every character. There is no individuality. If I go through a traumatizing moment as Jason, then Dick, Barbara, and Tim all went through that same trauma. It's as if the entire team was there, only I did not see it, I did not play it, I did not feel it. This is such a loss, such a missed opportunity. You could have missions that are tailored, meant for Dick Grayson. Missions, villains, stories that need his hope, his will to remain in the light. Missions, characters meant for Barbara Gordon's intelligence, her perseverance, her ability to withstand such pain. Missions, civilians, people, stories that need Jason Todd's realism, his groundedness, his empathy, his connection to the average man and not just the Batman. But there is no point of view, no journey, no uniqueness, no individuality. There's no variety to these missions, case files, whatever you want to call them. And there is such an opportunity to have it. Why can't we infiltrate a Court of Owls party as a guest? Why do we have to go in our costumes, guns blazing? It's all guns blazing or batarangs booming. It's beat up the bad guys, solve some easy clunky puzzles, beat up some more bad guys. It never feels like I'm tracking a mystery, uncovering a conspiracy, just smashing goons' faces until the next exposition cutscene decides to drop. There is no rhythm to the gameplay. I'm not expecting free-flow combat nor Spider-Man's agile quips and quickness. There is no storytelling through gameplay. The most exciting moments, the most shocking of twists, the most challenging of choices all happen in cutscenes. My favorite games allow you to play the most important moments. Arkham Knight had few non-playable beats. All of it made me feel like I was Batman. I was experiencing his pain, his shock, his sanity. This is the antithesis. All I wanted was unique gameplay crafted to our Gotham Knights. I wanted a game that made me feel like Red Hood, feel like Nightwing, feel like Batgirl, feel like Robin. I wanted the sun to set on the Arkham franchise and bring us a brand new Knight. But all I felt was an apathetic nothing, an empathetic longing for more. All I felt was what the characters, the citizens of Gotham, the victims turned villains, and the sons and the daughter of the Bat should have been feeling throughout our story. I'm no game reviewer, hell, I'm not even a movie reviewer. I'm just a guy who loves these characters and is lucky enough to have a platform to talk about them. But here in Gotham Knights, I felt such a disconnect from every single one. I'm not entirely sure why, considering I am the demographic. I am the fanboy who wants more Bat family stories. But to me, Jason never really felt like Jason. Tim never really felt like Tim. Dick never really felt like Dick. Barbara never really felt like Barbara. Bruce never really felt like Bruce. They did not feel like faithful takes nor fresh, interesting ones. Instead, they felt like wiki entries, cliff notes, spoken biographies, outlines of icons, and not human beings. Obviously, I mained as Jason Todd, and yes, I'm extremely biased about his character, more importantly, extremely passionate about his characterization. My full-time passion right now is telling a completely non-authorized non-profit made out of love Jason Todd story. And the one thing that me and my team wanted to avoid at all costs was making Jason a two-dimensional cutout, making him the edgy, violence-seeking, unhinged, angry caricature.
That's right, motherfuckers! The hood is back!
Gotham Knights is full of caricatures. Mr. Freeze wants to freeze the city, make people feel the broken, frozen heart he lives with every day, as he always does. Clayface wants to be seen, grab the attention of the Gothamites, as he always does. Harley wants to implant people with microchips that take away their fears and make them act out their most animalistic desires. Why? I'm not sure. The Court of Owls want to continue to run Gotham, create more powerful soldiers to do so. The most basic of motivations, the most simplistic of caricatures. Gotham Knights is severely lacking in the most fundamental tool, truth to why we love these superhero stories. Character. There are some good scenes, moments, minutes, seconds where the pain of these heroes, the heartbreak of these children shine through, but it's not nearly enough. They try to bring complexity to them, but it comes off as entirely disingenuous, fabricated, false.
You died. It's okay to not be okay with that.
There's a lack of authenticity to the voice direction. The actors are doing their best, everyone is trying, but the rhythm of which they speak, the stretches of silence between each line, makes me feel like none of these people are in the same room. I'm glad we get cutscenes where the Knights just talk, play video games, roast each other, but it feels so empty, so barren. I wish they took a page from Guardians of the Galaxy, where the characters, the team, are constantly speaking to each other over one another, not just in cutscenes, but while we are playing, breathing, being these characters. My time in Gotham was filled with silence, exposition, copy-paste dialogue. Tim only came on my comms to tell me to search for an object. Barbara popped in to tell me to keep fighting the goons. Alfred told me to stay safe and not die. None of these humans feel as if they truly know each other. All the development, the tenderness is entirely contained into these non-playable little vignettes that are spread across 20 hours worth of gameplay, only accessed by awkwardly switching your character. And they are entirely optional. A side quest. Moments like this, and this, and this should not be optional. Jason dealing with the fact that he missed years of his life, years of love, Barbara not being able to remember her father's face, Dick not being able to deal with the responsibility Bruce thrusted upon him, Tim not being able to find Robin's place without a Batman, should not be optional. They should be the reason the game fucking exists. None of these family members feel like they love each other. None of this Bat family is experiencing the loss of Batman with any weight, any truth. Truthfully, the most development we get for these characters is found in collectible audio logs and emails. I know Clark Kent reached out to each member of the Bat family, offering his supportive super hand, a loving shoulder to cry on. I know Jason is going to therapy, likes to read, and is trying to save at-risk kids from ending up like him. I know he is deeply empathetic towards the rest of the team, trying to reach out through email since he has trouble communicating. I know all this not because this was shown to me, not because I played it, experienced it, lived it, but because I read it.
I should have been there. I failed her. Barbara, and Dick, and Jason. He's really gone. 16.
Thematically, it's there. We start the game and we see Bruce look at the costumes of his family, the mantle he may have burdened them with, but also the inspiration, the hope he has given. We start and see that Bruce has realized, finally, that he has done enough. Thematically, there's a lot going on, a lot that could be said. Bruce lived in a cave hidden in the underground, the darkness. His family has chosen the light. They live in a clock tower where they can watch the sunrise. Criminals feared the Batman. Their victims can look up and hope for our knights. Thematically, a beautiful story is there, hidden in the emails, in the audio logs, repressed, like the feelings of pain, the feelings of Gotham Knights is a game about heartbreak, but never dares explore the grief with any depth, any truth. I'm sure it's an impossible task to bring these characters to life. I'm sure it's a blessing and a curse. The fact they had to write the game with 4 different perspectives, 4 different points of views at any given time, that's tough. But that lack of perspective, that lack of a clear voice, that emptiness, the shallowness of our hero's grief, that is painful. Batman is dead, and the entire game should be about that. Batman is dead, and his family should have to come together, not just through cutscenes, not just through empty, forced off-screen development, but through gameplay, through story, through our actions as the player. We should feel his loss just as much as the characters supposedly do. The story of Batman is always one of grief, heartbreak, and how we deal with pain. You have a story about a man who was a deeply flawed hero, who was not the best father, but who never, until his very last breath, gave up trying to save his city, trying to love again, trying to make sure that he could prevent others from feeling the pain, the grief that he cannot escape. They set this all up, all this potential, this emotion, but never utilize it. We start in the Bat's cave watching it crumble. We have a villain who brings the Bat back from the dead because she is heartbroken. But that is never compared, juxtaposed to how the Knights want him back, how these kids want their mentor, their father, their friend back. We end in the Bat's cave watching it burn. We end the game by fighting Batman. There is so much room for growth, for meaning, mindfulness, for power in that premise, in forcing us to fight our hero. But instead, we get a tad of empty appealing and a ton of mindless shooting. We start and end with the suicide, the sacrifice of Batman. We start and end being unable to save him without ever really trying to. Between that start and end, we shoot, we ride, we die, we fight, we uncover, we soar, but we never truly feel. Sure, it's fun for the most part. Sure, it's playable for the most part, but none of it is groundbreaking. None of it is given the time to be explored with depth, complexity, truthfulness. The sad irony is I feel like the team behind this is a lot like the Gotham Knights themselves. Lost, struggling to form an identity, struggling to usher in a new era, struggling to move on from the one who set the bar, the one who taught them how to be. I look at Gotham Knights and I see this endless, vast potential, the potential Bruce Wayne saw in these young heroes, these tortured souls. Jason Todd has empathy for the criminals Batman pounded on. He has the awareness of what it's like to struggle to live without love. He never had an Alfred, he never had wealth, he never had hope. Dick Grayson, Barbara Gordon, Tim Drake, they understand that they cannot live in Bruce's darkness, that they must become the light, they must keep their light despite the pain, despite the grief. Together they could be, should be, the heroes that Gotham really needs. Imagine being able to play that, live that. Video games are the art form that has the greatest potential for empathy. You not only watch a character, you become them. I see the truth Gotham Knights could have brought, the empathy they could have given. I see what we players could have become, the story we could have experienced, the characters we could have truly connected to. I see the story of grief, of regret, of loss they so want to tell. I see it all, but I never got to and will never be able to play it. And that's heartbreaking. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching, and thank you to Loverboy Media for editing this video. Check out his new video on the Batman. You guys have wanted my Batman deep dive. Well, he did it better than I ever could, so check it out. Thank you guys so much for supporting the channel. Make sure to check out our Jason Todd fan film, and thank you to WB for sending me an early review code. That was very, very cool. I wish I had a better experience with the game. I hope all of you have a lovely, 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 lovely day.